Yeah, so I think it's something that it needs to be discussed again a little more. Um, this idea that, oh my God, if you eat meat, you've got this karmic debt, you know. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad tidings, but every time you wash your hands, you're killing the organisms. You wipe off your countertop, you're killing organisms. You take a breath of air, you're killing organisms. You take a step. What about all the poor little ants you've stepped on? What about all the organisms you mindlessly kill every day? Every time you take a drink of water, you're killing organisms. You take a shot, you're killing, organisms. You go to the doctor, you're taking medication. Again, you're there to kill organisms. So if you're this grand, wonderful, compassionate person, you'll stop eating entirely, you'll stop breathing, you will never have another drink of water, you will never clean another countertop, you will never wash your hands again, and you will let them have free reign in your life because you're so compassionate. If you're not doing that, then I'm sorry, you're a hypocrite. Bottom line. Again, yeah. They're not mourning the loss of the bacteria they kill. They're not mourning their loss. What's wrong with them? Why don't they have a right to life? So, I'm sorry, but this is the cycle of life on this planet. You go to the doctor. Why? Because you don't want those organisms taking over your body. If you get a parasite, are you going to let them sit there and have free reign in your body? I don't think so. So again, I'm going to tell you you're a hypocrite. This is one thing you get so tired of hearing. Yes, there's a karmic debt if you're out to torture an animal. Then there's a karmic debt. But when it's done respectfully, you're eating meat to continue life, and it's needed, it's needed in the form, it's needed for Kundalini, it's needed to stay in balance. I'm sorry, I did not create the bodies, but it's what is there and the way they function. So that's it. So either, jump off this bandwagon that people are on, beating their drums about how compassionate they are and how loving they are. And if you meet, you're just a terrible, non-compassionate person. But yet you're out there using the antiseptics, taking shots. If you get cancer, you're going to let those cells multiply and take over the body? Or are you going to get chemo to kill them off? Now, if you're a really loving and compassionate person, you'd see they have a right to life as well. You'd let them go ahead and multiply. So again, you're not mourning every time you take a glass of water. You're not mourning the bacteria that are dying with that. You're not mourning every time you wipe off the countertop. You're not mourning every time you wash your hands. Again, so, people need to get a reality check. And while this, New Age thing sounds so much more compassionate, really, they're taking such things so out of context. Yet again, a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. And I've spoken on this a lot of times. Well, if you're Buddhist, you're vegetarian. Buddha was not a vegetarian. He died from eating tainted meat. Whether they don't know if it was purposely poisoned or whether it had just become, past its prime and you know, and it was tainted. But the fact is, Buddha died from meat. Okay? Buddha always said, you know, you accept what's given to you. His stance was, if I'm coming, don't go out and make a grand celebration and kill something specially for me. But if it's already done, then we're not going to waste it. Give its life a purpose, for Pete's sakes. So if you're eating meat, you know, to again, continue the journey and do what's needed to do, then you are honoring that life. You honor that it's been given, you know, in order that one can proceed. And when that, when these animals are released from their form, they're out of suffering. They're not in the bondage of the body. Again, if you have a pet and they're suffering, they're ill, they're not going to become better, it's very selfish for you not to have them euthanized. I see so many people, their pet is suffering and suffering and suffering and pain, and the people are so selfish that, no, I want to keep them around because I want to have their company as long as I can. Where it's much more humane to allow them to be euthanized and released from that suffering form so they are not in pain any longer. So, no, in the name of, I've seen horrible suffering cows in India that have left for 3 days. They've swallowed plastic bags and they're not allowed to euthanize them, and they die horrible, horrible, horrible deaths. It would be so much more compassionate and humane to release them from the form and let them be euthanized so they leave the form easier than to lay there and suffer in dire agony. Or to see these animals, you know, that are supposed to be so loved and protected, the cows, sitting there starving to death. They're nothing but skin and bones. They are suffering. So while you have these high-minded ideals, the reality is something much different than what people's projection about it is. Okay? So that's all I have to say on that subject today. Hopefully it's the last time I have to speak on this. But really, you know, there's misplaced ideas of what compassion is and what it's not, and what's the higher lifestyle versus not, etc. Okay? So again, if you want to be really compassionate, never ever wash ever again, never take another drink of water, and let those organisms have a right to life as well. Then we'll have this conversation again. Okay? Namaste.